She revealed her dream of becoming a mother. My surprising answer changed both our lives forever. Emma sat across from Jake, the cafe's warm ambiance failing to thaw the chill in her heart. Steam curled from her coffee, but it couldn't mask her growing restlessness. She had always poured her heart into her work as a nurse, but tonight felt different. With every sip, she grappled with her unfulfilled dreams of motherhood, a longing that was only magnified by each passing year. It was as if the world around her relentlessly reminded her of what she lacked: a family, a partner, and the joy of nurturing. "Emma," Jake said, his brows furrowed in concern. The way he said her name sent a surge of warmth through her, yet it was quickly overshadowed by the familiar ache of loneliness. She had watched friends move on, settle down, create families, while she felt trapped in a cycle of caring for others. She couldn't remember the last time she allowed herself to imagine her own happiness outside the hospital walls. But sitting here, knowing he was listening, she felt compelled to speak. "I've always wanted kids, you know." Her voice trembled as she revealed the truth she'd kept bottled up. "But working so much, sometimes it feels impossible." A heavy silence enveloped them. Jake's eyes searched hers as though he could detect the storm raging within. Time ticked on, racing ahead as her heart grappled with a wave of conflicting emotions. "Everyone keeps telling me to settle down, but here I am, single and yearning," she admitted, her hands clenching around the mug. "What if I never get to experience that love?" Jake leaned closer, his expression softening. "You're not alone in feeling that way," he confessed. "My childhood wasn't typical. I always avoided the idea of family, but now I find myself wishing for it too." The space between them pulsed with honesty, making her heart pang with an unexpected connection. But how could she want a family with him? Jake was her friend, a struggling architect with his own burdens. "What do we even know about raising kids?" she questioned, the skepticism creeping into her voice. "Isn't it insane?" Just when the weight of the world seemed too heavy, he leaned in, a spark igniting in his eyes. "What if we co-parent?" The words hung in the air like a dare, urging her mind to skip over the logic. Had she misheard him? The idea felt so radical. They had never crossed into such territory before. "We both want a family, right? Maybe we can help each other," he continued, injecting a boldness that piqued her interest. Her heart raced, a chaotic rhythm rising within her chest. The thought of embracing motherhood alongside Jake was thrilling but terrifying. The tangled threads of their friendship threatened to unravel. Could they venture into the unknown without losing one another? She hesitated, grappling with her racing mind and mounting tension. Would this arrangement lead to deeper connection or painful complications? Before she could respond, the shadows of their realities loomed larger. A scandal erupted in Maplewood. Whispers of discontent aimed at the hospital, and her very position as a healer clouded the cafe like a storm. The familiarity of her world began to fracture under scrutiny, leaving her vulnerable and exposed. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Emma's focus snapped back to Jake, their friendship trembling at the precipice of this shocking proposal. The weight of anticipation settled heavily like frost in the air. As their plans loomed larger in the dimly lit cafe, Emma sensed the fragile boundary between friends and potential co-parents eroding. Could she truly open herself to this unconventional path? Fear gnawed at her resolve, each moment escalating into an unwieldy anticipation that threatened to overwhelm her. Standing at the heart of her turmoil, swirling thoughts and daunting fears, Emma felt a rush of urgency. In the face of societal expectations and personal fears, was it worth sacrificing their friendship for a possibility neither had expected? Her heart thudded as she stood on the cusp of an answer, knowing it would change everything. Emma took a deep breath, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee intertwining with the electric tension in the air. Jake's proposal lingered like an echo, rattling the foundation of her emotional fortress. She sought clarity amidst the chaos. The warmth of her connection with Jake clashed with the icy fear of uncharted territory. Could their friendship withstand this transformation? "What about us?" she managed to utter, her voice barely above a whisper, heavy with the weight of unspoken fears. "What if we fail? What if this changes everything?" The flickering candle on their table cast shadows on their faces, illuminating the conflict within her, an internal battle between the yearning for family and the fear of losing a cherished friend. Jake sat back, his expression contemplative. "I guess it could," he admitted, the sincerity of his tone cutting through the rising fog of their dilemma. "But isn't that risk worth taking if it means we both get to realize a dream we've both kept so close to our hearts?" The sorrow of her unfulfilled aspirations mingled with a strange sense of hope. Dreaming of motherhood had become an isolated fixation, one that consumed her evenings, fueling her resolve to find joy in the hardest moments at work, especially when her patience hung in the balance. But now Jake's proposition opened a door she hadn't known existed. It wasn't merely about co-parenting, it was about partnership and shared experiences, honesty and vulnerability. Would we even know how to do this? She leaned in, emboldened by the vulnerability of the moment. What if we just end up hurting each other? The fear gripped her, squeezing tightly like a vice. "Then we deal with it," he replied, a razor-sharp determination in his eyes. "We're already friends. We know how to communicate. We can set boundaries, keep it open and honest. We can't predict everything, but we could create something beautiful." Something inside her stirred at that thought. It was radical but attainable, tinged with the idealism of youth yet grounded in a shared reality. "I need to think about this," she said, reluctant yet aware of inevitability. Every heartbeat reverberated with what-ifs and maybes, each echoing the driving force of her desire to take control, not just of her life, but her destiny. Back at the hospital, the scandal loomed large, a constant reminder that her professional life hung on a knife's edge. Perhaps this new venture could serve as an anchor, a compass guiding her through the storm. It hit her then. The significance of motherhood wasn't simply about nurturing another life. It was about nurturing herself, discovering new facets of her identity. The notion that she could design a family dynamic with Jake was revolutionary. Yet as fear and excitement battled within her, Emma felt a pang of doubt. Was it enough to merely share dreams without the shared love that typically anchored family life? Hardship and pleasure mingled like oil and water, creating a complex tapestry neither could fully understand. "Let's take it step by step," she finally suggested, the tension in her shoulders easing as she began to find her footing in this new realm of possibilities. It was a fragile agreement, one that would require the strength of 1,000 conversations to navigate, but it felt right in its uncertainty. But as they parted ways, she felt the oscillation of hope and apprehension. Alone in her apartment later that night, she stared at her reflection, scrutinizing the new contours of her aspirations. Inside her, dreams of motherhood stirred alongside the glaring reality of professional turmoil. She would need to confront the whispers surrounding her career, ensuring that she could carve out not just a potential future as a mother, but as the capable nurse she aspired to be. Could she balance both without losing herself? The next morning, Emma arrived at the hospital early, driven by renewed purpose. With each step through the sterile hallway, she resolved to defend her professional integrity. But was she truly ready to dive headfirst into this endeavor? The specter of doubt lingered, poised just beneath the surface. "Today would be the day I reclaim control," she vowed quietly. As she approached the staff lounge, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, the phone buzzed in her pocket. A message from Jake popped up. "Excited to start this journey together. Ready when you are." That twinge of anxiety returned, sharper than before. What had she truly stepped into? Determined yet uncertain, Emma braced herself for an even larger confrontation. Her journey toward motherhood now intertwined with the need to stand strong against the swirling controversies of her profession. The moment had arrived. She was ready to confront not only her dreams but also the institutions that threatened her. Emma slipped into the staff lounge, her heart a drumbeat of nervous anticipation. The morning's chaos buzzed around her, filled with the chatter of nurses and the soft beeping of medical machines. But today felt different. This was her moment of clarity amidst the chaos. As colleagues exchanged pleasantries, she prepared for the challenging conversations ahead. Determined to assert her position, Emma headed directly towards Linda, the head nurse. Known for her strict adherence to hospital protocols, Linda had also been a reliable mentor in Emma's career. But today, Emma's intent was clear. She was not going to be a passive participant in her own narrative. "Linda, can we chat?" Emma asked, her voice steadier than she felt inside. "Of course, Emma. What's on your mind?" Linda gestured for her to sit down, adjusting her glasses as she looked up expectantly. Emma took a breath, gathering her thoughts. "I want to discuss the allegations against me. I feel like they overlook my dedication and efforts here. I've worked hard to build my reputation, and I won't allow these rumors to define me." Linda regarded her thoughtfully, the brief silence almost palpable. "I appreciate your determination, but you know how powerful perception can be in this institution. It's not just about your work ethic, it's about how others perceive it." Those words hit Emma like a sledgehammer. Perception, in the hospital's ecosystem of gossip and judgment, it felt like a toxic trap. Her mind raced, tangled between the need for professional integrity and the emotional upheaval of the path she was considering with Jake. "What if I reframe the narrative?" she proposed, the idea forming as she spoke. "I could use this opportunity to highlight my work, perhaps organize a workshop or a seminar on patient care. I want to emphasize my dedication in a way they cannot ignore." "That's ambitious," Linda replied, her brow furrowing in contemplation. "But it could work. Control the narrative in a public arena instead of letting it fester in private whispers. You'll have to rally support, though, from the team. They need to believe in your message." Yes, exactly." Emma felt the rush of adrenaline coursing through her veins. "I want to show them who I am. I'm committed to my patients and my career. I won't back down." The prospect of creating a workshop infused her with renewed resolve. It was a tactical move, one that could lift the weight of doubt hanging over her like a storm cloud. "I have some ideas that might resonate," she added, her confidence building like a growing flame. As the conversation continued, Emma felt the tight grip of anxiety beginning to loosen. Linda advised her on structuring the event, but more importantly, they discussed the importance of building alliances. Emma recognized that she had to connect more deeply with her colleagues if she wanted to shift their perception. But being a leader means standing out, Linda warned carefully. "You might face resistance. Not everyone will support you." Emma nodded, that warning manifesting a deeper fear, but it also galvanized her. If she wanted to combine her dreams of motherhood with her career aspirations, she had to take risks. After their discussion, Emma stepped outside the hospital, where the sun was shining brightly. The clarity she had sought was beginning to surface, rational thinking juxtaposed against her emotional turmoil. She needed to talk to Jake again, to share her plan and see how he envisioned their journey together fitting into her burgeoning professional development. With every decision she made regarding her future, his presence nagged at the back of her mind. Would he still stand by her side as she faced the storm? As she pulled out her phone to text him, a nagging question lingered. Could she keep her personal life from colliding with her ambitions? The prospect of intertwining everything fueled both her excitement and fear. She pressed send, a rush of urgency propelling her forward. "Let's meet. We need to discuss everything." But that question loomed still, unaddressed and potent. Could she effectively manage the expectations of being a mother while standing firm in her profession? As she awaited Jake's response, Emma felt the weight of her choices settling in. Every step she took seemed crucial, every decision echoed in the chambers of her new reality. The moment for confrontation lay ahead, not just in her professional realm, but intimately in her substantial personal choices as well. What would Jake's answer reveal about their path? Would he still share her ambition or voice unexpected doubts? Emma held her breath, poised at the threshold of contemplating not only motherhood, but redefining her career. The stakes were high, and the next move could seal their fates. The sun hung high in the sky, casting shadows across the hospital courtyard as Emma paced, her thoughts racing in tandem with her pulse. It had been nearly 10 minutes since she sent the message to Jake, yet every passing moment felt like an eternity, thickening the air around her with uncertainty. She clutched her phone, waiting along with her mounting anxiety for his reply. Each vibration in her hand promised to shift the landscape of her life. The prospect of organizing the workshop brought a renewed sense of purpose. Emma visualized the topic she'd present: innovative patient care techniques, the importance of empathy in nursing, and the power of teamwork. She was ready to reclaim her narrative, to shed the weight of the accusations swirling around her. Yet as her ideas crystallized, an unsettling thought crept in. What if she was merely masking her uncertainty with ambition? Her resolve faltered, casting shadows over her burgeoning plans. She had worked diligently to prove herself in a high-stakes environment, but the specter of motherhood loomed large. How could she embrace both roles? Could she weave family into her career tapestry without tearing them apart? Just as the question spiraled, her phone buzzed. Jake's response. When and where? Relief washed over her like a balm. Fueled by a mixture of elation and trepidation, Emma quickly typed back, suggesting a secluded cafe nearby, a space that might cradle their conversation in privacy away from the hospital's intensity. The moment she left the courtyard, stepping into the cafe's cool sanctuary, her mind underwent a transformation. This wasn't merely about piecing together professional aspirations. This was about confronting raw emotions, framing new life and ambitions alongside the towering expectations she set for herself. As she settled at a table, she looked around, taking in the ambient clinks of coffee cups and soft conversations murmuring around her. When Jake walked through the door, she was struck by how familiar he felt, a connection that was both a comfort and a tension point. There was something intrinsic about the way he held her gaze, an unspoken bond that tugged at her heart, but also evoked the fear of vulnerability. "Hey," he said, sliding into the chair across from her. "You wanted to talk?" "Yeah," she hesitated, gathering her courage. "I've been thinking about us, about everything. You know, I'm starting to organize a workshop at the hospital to regain my footing after the rumors, but I want to talk about something more personal too." His expression turned serious, signaling a shift in energy at the table. "Okay, I'm listening. What's on your mind?" Emma took a deep breath. "I've been contemplating motherhood. I want to be a mom, Jake, but I need to understand how that aligns with my career. I don't know how I can juggle both worlds. I need your support, but also your perspective on this." Silence enveloped them, thick with expectation. She could see him processing her words, weighing their implications. What would he say? Would he mirror her ambition? Or would her dream ignite fear in him instead? The next moment felt pivotal, charged with potential. Emma held her breath, aware that the direction of their lives hinged on his response. Would he embrace this desire she so passionately held, or distance himself from the challenges it presented? "Emma, His hesitation hung heavy in the air, the weight of their intertwined futures palpable. As the words remained unvoiced, uncertainty coiled tighter around Emma's heart. How they navigated this moment could change everything for both of them. The impending revelation loomed, ready to either illuminate or overshadow the paths they envisioned. But what awaited beyond this pivotal conversation? Would they embark on a shared journey or confront a divide too vast to bridge? Emma braced herself, the tension tightening like a hunter's snare, ready for the responses that could propel them into uncharted territory. As Emma sat across from Jake, the cafe's atmosphere faded into a blur, leaving only the rush of her heartbeat in her ears. His cautious expression felt like a waiting storm, and she could almost feel the charge of energy crackling between them. Each second stretched into an eternity, amplifying not just the fear of his response but also the realization of her position in their emotional landscape. "Emma, he finally began, his voice steady yet laden with weight. "I want to be honest. There's a lot we'd need to figure out." He paused, allowing the silence to thicken before continuing. "But I believe we can make it work. You're undeniably ambitious, and I admire that. We just have to be upfront about our expectations." His words hit Emma like a tidal wave, washing over her thoughts and redefining the path ahead. She had expected concern or perhaps reluctance. Instead, Jake presented possibility, a shared dream tempered by reality. As relief mingled with the adrenaline of uncertainty, she leaned in, eager for the discussion to unfold. "Why do you say that? What makes you think we can manage it together?" she probed, seeking clarity amid her own swirling emotions. "I see your passion for nursing and your desire to grow, not just as a professional but as a person. A mom is part of that evolution for you, isn't it? I want to help with that if you'll let me," Jake replied, his sincerity washing over her, offering a semblance of hope. Nurturing that hope meant she needed to evaluate the very fabric of her existence. The late nights at the hospital, the emotional toll of caring for patients, and the dreams of nurturing new life. Could she really merge her aspirations? "Support means so much," Emma said, mind racing as she envisioned their life together, her meticulously organized schedule threading professional commitments with family responsibilities. Yet another realization struck her. She'd have to overcome her tendencies to shoulder everything independently. "But this is new territory for both of us. Have you ever thought about how we would balance everything? Of course, we'd need to communicate, prioritize, maybe even lean on each other more than we normally do." He shrugged, as though the weight of that conversation was lighter than it seemed. "Also, I believe parents make it work all the time. It won't be perfect, but we can create our own rhythm." Those words illuminated Emma's insecurities. The idea of juggling a demanding career and motherhood felt daunting, swirling in her mind like an unresolved puzzle. Yet with Jake beside her, the picture became less about solitary effort and more about partnership. Their dynamic could evolve, it had to. "Partnership," she echoed softly, contemplating the word. Each letter resonated with a depth of meaning she hadn't fully embraced before. If they embarked on this journey together, it wouldn't just be about her dreams. They'd be crafting a future as a unit. "What about our work?" she asked, curiosity and caution mingling. "Can our ambitions coexist without one overshadowing the other?" "We're both driven, and that's a strength," Jake replied, leaning forward, eyes flashing with determination. "We'd have to set boundaries and schedule intentionally, but we can support each other's professional lives too. I might adjust my goals to accommodate your path, whatever that means for us." Emma felt a pang of discomfort. It didn't sit entirely right that she could demand such flexibility of him. "That sounds generous, but I'd want you to pursue your own dreams as fiercely as I pursue mine. I wouldn't want any resentment down the line." "Resentment breeds in silence," he replied plainly, his gaze unwavering. "If we're open and honest, we'll avoid that trap. We commit to each other, but not at the cost of ourselves, right?" A sudden realization washed over her. This wasn't merely about the upcoming workshop or expanding her nursing practice. It was about knitting the threads of her life with intention and collaboration. This moment was transformative, the implication of growth unfurling before them. The cafe continued enveloping them in warmth and soft chatter, but all Emma could focus on was the intricate dance ahead. A commitment that would require them to redefine what partnership meant in the context of personal ambitions and shared dreams. As they leaned further into conversation, she felt a flickering of determination ignite within her. Here was a chance to shape not only their futures, but the narrative of who they would become together. But just as she began to grasp this newfound vision, a startling realization surged through her, a hesitancy she couldn't shake. What unforeseen challenges lay on the path ahead? Would their ambitions remain aligned, or would they expose fractures in their desires? Could she truly navigate the complexities of motherhood alongside her nursing career, or would it unravel the delicate balance they were starting to build? Emma felt the weight of doubt creeping in, begging to be addressed. In the depths of their conversation, One pressing question loomed larger, one that could alter the course of their future. Did she genuinely believe she could thrive, or was the fear of failure lurking too close for comfort? As the conversation lingered in the air between them, Emma's thoughts raced, tangled in the web of emotions she had never fully confronted. The prospect of motherhood felt like a beacon, yet it also loomed like a storm cloud, filled with uncertainty and doubts. Could she truly become the mother she envisioned while still nursing her professional aspirations? Jake's confidence fueled her hope, but it also shook her foundations. The weight of expectation pressed down on her, a subtle but persistent reminder of the fragility of their new agreement. She had spent years cultivating her nursing career, investing late nights and weekends toward her ambitions. She was driven, focused, and resilient, yes, but now a new layer of responsibility loomed. "Jake," she said, her voice quavering slightly. "What if I fail? What if I can't balance everything? I don't want to let you down, or myself, or our future children." The flicker of doubt ignited within her again, expanding beyond doubt and enveloping her in fear. "I'm not asking for perfection, Em," he replied gently, his sincerity pulling her back a little from the edge. "This isn't just about achieving goals. It's about growing together and being there for each other through the messiness of life. If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. We can adapt, learn from each other, and frankly, stumble together." His words settled within her, yet the anxieties rumbled beneath the surface. She envisioned the late-night shifts at the hospital, exhaustion weighing heavy on her as a new mother. The thought of negotiating her schedule, making calls between diaper changes, and finding time to support Jake's ambitions felt like standing on a tightrope above a chasm. As they chatted, Emma reflected on her upbringing, recalling her mother's sacrifices to balance a career while raising 3 children. The risks taken, the compromises made. Did she have it in her to follow a similar path? Could her desire to excel as a nurse coexist with the unconditional love she yearned to give as a mother? "Do you think I've got what it takes?" she finally asked, searching Jake's eyes for reassurance. "I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't believe in you," he said, a warmth radiating from him that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. "We're a team. You're strong, Emma. And your ambition isn't just about your career. It's about the life you carve out for us, isn't it?" His unwavering support sparked something within her, a slow burning realization. Perhaps it wasn't just about managing. Perhaps it was about learning to navigate, adapting, and creating a life rich with shared experiences and support. Yet the rhythm of her heartbeat remained a stark reminder of the stakes. Could she shape her identity in a way that held space for both her nursing ambitions and the nurturing she craved? The question loomed with a clarity she couldn't ignore. After the cafe dimmed with the approaching dusk, Emma stepped outside, the cool evening air brushing against her. She felt the weight of the world warming at her back, intertwined with the rich scent of coffee and the hum of the city, echoing the pulse of life just beyond their conversation. "What's next for you?" Jake asked, his voice breaking through her reverie. Emma considered her nursing workshop on the horizon. She had poured countless hours into honing her skills, developing innovative methods to enhance patient care. But now, imbued with newfound clarity, she saw the workshop as not just a professional milestone, but as a springboard into her dual ambitions, nursing and motherhood. "I think I need to redefine my goals, Jake. I want to build a career that allows for a family. I want to innovate within nursing, make my mark, while still fostering an environment that nurtures our future children." His eyes lit up, excitement igniting a spark between them. "Then let's do it together. Let's find ways to grow. I'll be there for every step of it." Moments stretched out in a blend of reassurance and anticipation. It felt transformative. Yet, as they walked through the evening, an unsettling question loomed. The workshop was approaching, but so were challenges she had yet to anticipate. How would she redefine her ambitions while navigating the realities of family? With each step, she felt excitement coiling into tension. The path ahead shimmered with the light of possibility, but shadows of doubt danced nimbly at the edges. Emma inhaled, the moment heavy with unspoken questions. Could she rise to meet her evolving identity? Or would her aspirations buckle under the weight of motherhood? As she turned to Jake, she sensed that their conversation was far from over. "Are we ready for this next chapter?" she asked, barely able to keep the tremor from her voice. The night was still young, but uncertainty loomed dark and heavy, daring her to take the plunge into the unknown. The wind tugged at Emma's hair as she processed Jake's words. Ready for the next chapter? She wasn't sure. The uncertainty felt almost suffocating, but beneath it lay an undeniable ember of determination. She'd faced challenges before, grueling shifts, demanding patience, lost opportunities, but the personal stakes were different now. This was about more than a career. It was about shaping a life, one that would intertwine with Jake's, and eventually, with children's. Emma drew a breath, steadying herself as they walked further into the night. "Let's tackle the workshop together then," she proposed, her tone carrying a newfound resolve. "If I'm going to broaden my horizons in nursing, I need to embrace all the feedback they can give. I also want to gather those resources that could help shape my plans for our family." "Absolutely," Jake echoed, his enthusiasm palpable. "And what about the innovative methods you've developed? You've always had an intuitive grasp of patient care. It might be more than just a workshop." Something inside her flickered, a spark of validation that she might already possess the tools to create a meaningful change, both in her profession and in her home life. "I have been thinking about it. What if I could design a program that integrates family wellness with patient care? Something that teaches nurses how to support families through both the medical side and the emotional connection they need?" "That sounds incredible, Emma. You could pave the way for so many other nurses who want to balance their own professional aspirations with family life." As they walked, Emma could feel her confidence swelling amidst the uncertainties. The vision began to crystallize in her mind, a dual venture enriching both her work and her home. But a sudden pang of doubt surged through her, as if mocking her newfound ambition. What about the skepticism she'd face from peers who might see her dual aspirations as a contradiction? "Do you think they'll take this idea seriously?" she questioned, her brow furrowing as she turned to face Jake. "I can already hear the whispers. Nurses should focus on nursing, not trying to redefine everything." "People challenge each other all the time, Em. Look at history. It's filled with people daring to step beyond expectations. You must be bold. Explore the ideas that others won't." His trust in her reignited that spark, pushing back against the shadows of doubt. The flicker of an idea transformed into a definite plan. She had always valued innovation in her profession, and perhaps this workshop was her opportunity to challenge the norms. A chance to grow, educate, and provide balance in a field that often demanded one at the cost of another. Yet even as her aspirations bloomed, another wave of anxiety threatened to crash over her. How would she actually implement this? The pressure was mounting. Could she truly navigate the weight of everything? The demands of motherhood, her nursing career, and then this ambitious project. The implications spun in her mind like an intricate web, each thread tightening with possibility, but also the unbearable weight of fear. "What if I can't sustain everything?" she muttered under her breath, the reality sharpening her senses. Jake paused, looking at her closely, an understanding flicker in his eyes. "Then you pivot," he said gently. "You adjust. But you start moving forward instead of standing still, which is the greatest risk of all." She nodded, taking in his words. The workshop drew closer with every passing moment, and she couldn't shake the mounting urgency within her. This was her chance to lay the groundwork for the life she envisioned, both as a mother and as a nurse. But now, the clock ticked louder than ever. "I have to talk to my supervisor about this," Emma said, a thread of determination weaving through her voice. "I need to see what tools and support I can gather before the workshop." As a lump formed in her throat, she sensed the tension hovering ominously. The potential for rejection loomed on the horizon, but she weighed it against the greater fear of remaining stagnant. What if she says no? Emma's voice trembled at the thought. Then you bring it back to them. Make it a conversation, not a presentation. Lead with your enthusiasm, your vision. You can do this, Emma. Jake's unwavering belief resonated within her, a grounding force amid the tumult of her emotions. They continued walking, her pace quickening as resolve flourished. Yet deep within, another conflict simmered. As she approached the precipice of taking this step, what would it mean for her identity? Could she remain true to herself while nestled within the realms of both nursing and motherhood? With each stride, the weight of her choices settled into clarity. She wouldn't let the fear dictate her path. As they reached a crosswalk, she paused and glanced toward Jake. Do you think I'm ready? To redefine everything? To push forward despite the risks? I believe in you, he replied, the sincerity of his words wrapping around her like a cocoon. Gripping the edges of her ambition, Emma took one last deep breath, ready to embrace the challenges ahead. As the light turned green, she recognized that change was not a solitary journey, but one they would face together. Yet, the deeper question lingered. Would she truly find balance or discover that the power of ambition brings its own sacrifices? With her heart racing, she stepped forward, ready to launch into this new chapter. The stakes were set. The road ahead awaited her next bold move. Emma sat at her desk the next morning. Notes and ideas sprawled across the surface in chaotic order, mirroring the thoughts swirling in her mind. Each page she flipped held promises yet to be spoken, each bullet point scribbled hastily underscoring the potential behind her vision. She felt the weight of anticipation. The workshop was only a week away, yet the enormity of her aspirations loomed larger with every passing moment. What if she failed? The very thought of her supervisor's reaction gnawed at the edges of her resolve. Would she be dismissed as naive for attempting to marry nursing with family wellness? Emma was acutely aware of the pressures associated with both roles. The healthcare field could often feel like a battleground, and here she was trying to introduce an entirely new philosophy. Taking a deep breath, she picked up her phone, hesitating briefly. Each ring of the dial felt like a countdown, amplifying her anxiety. Finally, she connected with Kate, her supervisor's assistant. Hi Kate, it's Emma. I'd like to set up a meeting with Ms. Tran to discuss some ideas I have regarding the upcoming workshop. Right away? She's quite busy, you know, Kate cautioned, the tone in her voice underscoring the cautiousness of their profession. I know, but this is important. I believe it could benefit not just me but the entire team of nurses. Hearing her own words brought a surge of confidence. She was offering a solution, not just presenting a problema. Within a few hours, Kate's voice crackled back through the line. Ms. Tran can meet you tomorrow at 2 p.m. The next day, Emma stood in front of the mirror, straightening her scrubs one last time. She was more than just a nurse. She was a champion of change, an advocate for balancing the demands of healthcare with family wellness. As she walked through the hospital corridors, her pulse quickened. She entered Ms. Tran's office, setting her notes on the desk, her palms dampening as she anticipated the conversation. Ms. Tran greeted her with a nod, affording Emma a moment to gather her thoughts. Thank you for seeing me, Ms. Tran, Emma began, her voice steady despite her swirling thoughts. I've been developing an idea for a program that focuses on integrating family wellness with patient care. I think there's a huge potential to shift how we engage with families during treatment. Ms. Tran listened intently, her expression neutral. Emma took encouragement from this, pressing on. I've noticed that while we engage patients, sometimes their family members feel sidelined. My idea is to create a training program that prepares nurses to be not just caregivers, but also emotional supporters for families, providing them with tools to navigate crisis and communication. Emma watched as Ms. Tran leaned back, arms crossed, appearing contemplative yet guarded. The air hung heavy with anticipation, each second stretching uncomfortably. What kind of support do you envision, Emma? Practical tools or more educational sessions? Both. Initially, we could host workshops that incorporate real-time scenarios. Role-playing could help nurses practice these new skills. As Emma articulated her vision, she felt a fire inside her grow. She was not just presenting an idea. She was advocating for a meaningful shift in nursing culture. Ms. Tran began to nod slowly, a slight smile forming. This is quite a bold proposal. You'll need buy-in from key personnel and time to pilot it properly. Emma felt a swell of gratification, This was the validation she longed for. "I know it presents its challenges, but I truly believe we can make this work. We might inspire other nurses to embrace their dual roles in a way that's empowering rather than conflicting." "Your enthusiasm is contagious," Ms. Tran replied with a thoughtful expression. "But let's consider the logistical aspects and potential hurdles we might face. I want you to draft a more detailed proposal and present it to the team. Can you do that?" "Absolutely, thank you for the opportunity." Emma's adrenaline surged, igniting the realization that this could be just the beginning. Once outside, she beamed, heart racing, as she contemplated the next steps. Yet as the excitement washed over her, another thought took root. What if her colleagues did resist this blending of roles? Would they unearth those whispers she so dreaded? That evening, Emma sat down to outline the proposal, energized yet aware of the skepticism that lay ahead. Could she balance the push for innovation in her professional sphere, while still respecting the legacy of traditional nursing? As she typed, she felt a tightness in her chest. The challenges were mounting. Each stroke of her keyboard solidified her commitment, but the fear echoed persistently. Perhaps she was moving too quickly, too boldly. Doubt crept into her thoughts, nudging her to consider the worst-case scenarios. Her colleagues dismissing her, her supervisor's skepticism morphing into rejection, and worse, a sense of isolation if they viewed her aspirations as a betrayal of nursing principles. Pausing, she placed her head in her hands, grappling with the enormity of what lay ahead. The desire to shift her world clashed violently with the fear of standing alone against established beliefs. With renewed determination, she readied herself to work through the night, knowing that her journey had only just begun. The next day brought the prospect of confrontation. Could she rally support, face the inevitable resistance, and still hold on to her dream? With that thought, Emma set her resolve. She would persevere, despite the fears that loomed in shadows, even if tomorrow faced her with the reality of opposition. As midnight drew closer, she reminded herself of the stakes, both for her and for the future she envisioned. The clock ticked softly, a persistent reminder that time was short. But was she truly prepared for the battle of her aspirations? Would her courage outlast potential doubt? Emma awoke to the crisp light of morning spilling through her window, the rush of energy fortified by last night's resolve. The doubt still lingered like shadows in the corners of her mind, but she pushed them aside. Today was crucial. She would present her detailed proposal to the team, and no matter the obstacles, she was determined to confront them head-on. As she moved through her morning routine, she rehearsed the talking points in her mind. Key benefits, anticipated challenges, potential solutions. She needed a clear narrative that painted a picture of her vision. It wasn't merely a program, it was a paradigm shift she believed could transform the way nurses interacted with families. The broader goal wasn't just about the immediate care of patients, but about fostering a cohesive environment that recognized families as essential partners in the healing process. Arriving at the hospital, the familiar scent of antiseptic, mixed with the underlying warmth of community, momentarily settled her nerves. But as she passed nurses and doctors who greeted her with concerned expressions, waves of uncertainty simmered beneath her exterior. During the morning's routine meeting, Emma's heart raced as she awaited her chance to present. The room buzzed with discussions over patient care and administrative burdens, but the focus shifted when her supervisor motioned to her. This was it. Emma would like to present a proposal, Ms. Tran announced, the weight of authority packing the room with expectation. Emma stood at the front, her notes clenched in her hands. She could feel the eyes of her colleagues boring into her. Each face was a mix of curiosity and skepticism, reflecting the broader challenge she faced. "Thank you for the opportunity to speak today," Emma began, channeling her nerves into confidence. She started outlining her concept, the words flowing more freely than she'd anticipated. Her conviction reinforced the value of the idea. With every point, she articulated the importance of emotional support for families, the impact on patient recovery, and the potential for nurses to take on this expanded role decisively. However, as she finished, the air thickened. Uncertainty shifted to direct confrontation. How do you believe we can manage these additional responsibilities without compromising patient care? A senior nurse interjected, concern lacing her voice. Emma steadied herself. Prioritizing family wellness does not detract from patient care. It enhances it. When families feel supported, we see better communication, understanding, and cooperation. The burden should not rest solely on our shoulders. We will empower them through this program. The silence that followed was deafening. Emma's heart raced. A wave of self-doubt threatened to engulf her. Had she failed to convince them? Emma, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but these workshops sound time-consuming. We have limited resources and time, Ms. Tran remarked cautiously. Then let me propose a pilot session, Emma responded, drawing on her training and the importance of adaptability. We can run a small workshop, gather feedback, and evaluate its success. If it proves beneficial, we can strategize how to integrate it fully. Something shifted in the room. Heads nodded slightly as the silence fractured with murmurs of contemplation. But another voice spoke out, her strongest critic. You're asking us to change the way we practice, Emma. What makes you think others will agree with your approach? Emma took a deep breath, realizing this moment defined not just her proposal but her resolve. I know change is challenging, but in my experience, resistance often stems from fear of the unknown. Change is uncomfortable, yes, but it's also necessary. I believe we have an opportunity to shape our practice into something that resonates more profoundly with our patients and their families. The room erupted into conversation, opinions clashing in a way that both terrified and excited her. She had sparked dialogue and drawn attention to her vision, a step she had longed for but didn't fully grasp would be so contentious. As the meeting adjourned, Emma felt a mix of exhilaration and exhaustion. They had not reached a consensus and skepticism loomed, but she had stated her case. The chance to pilot her program was now a possibility. The proposition existed, where previously it had felt like a dream. Later, as she returned to her office, Emma's mind buzzed with both anxiety and determination. What would it take to turn this favorable reception into a resounding endorsement? She would need to tap into allies, gather support from colleagues who shared her vision, and prepare to answer tough questions about the program's execution. Her adrenaline surged as she contemplated the next steps. She could sense opportunities for persuasion and collaboration. It was now about rallying support through one-on-one conversations, rather than waiting for a vote during meetings. In her heart, she knew a pivotal moment approached. Would she be able to turn skeptics into advocates? Would her vision find a place within the rigid structures of the hospital? With resolve ignited, Emma made her way back to her desk, a renewed purpose guiding her steps. The battle she fought was not just against doubt, but for a future she yearned to create for families and patients alike. And as she began strategizing her approach for the individual meetings ahead, she realized the stakes were higher than ever. Would her voice lead a transformative journey, or would it end in silence? Each moment lingered heavily as she turned to her notes, figuring out her next move, leaving her under the relentless weight of possibility and fear. Emma stood at the edge of a new reality, the culmination of her aspirations and trials converging in indistinguishable waves. The workshop proposal had ignited a spark, but tonight, as she prepared for the gathering of hospital staff to discuss her initiatives, the stakes felt monumental. She was no longer just a nursing professional. She was championing a vision for change in the pursuit of family-integrated care, one that could redefine her role and the practices of her peers. In the hours leading up to the meeting, she meticulously reviewed her notes, the outlines of her program crystallizing with clarity. Each bullet point and statistic wasn't just data. They embodied her journey, her learning, and her dreams for the future. It wasn't merely about connecting with patients. It was about transforming the fabric of care to embrace families as fundamental partners. As she entered the conference room, a familiar space now charged with anticipation, she could feel the collective energy of her colleagues. Their murmurs filled the air with a tension that was both electric and worrisome. Today, she wouldn't just be presenting numbers. She would be sharing a revolutionary approach born from her passion and understanding of nursing's potential. Thank you all for gathering today. Emma began, her voice steady yet spirited. She explained how emotional support could enhance patient recovery and improve family dynamics, citing studies that illustrated the intersection of mental health and healing. What followed her presentation were moments that felt suspended in time, the faces of her colleagues revealing skepticism, intrigue, and even resignation as they processed a shift they might not be prepared to accept. Yet she pressed on, inviting dialogue. "Emma, these are compelling ideas, but let's be realistic," one nurse interjected. "We're overworked as it is. How do you expect us to handle extra responsibilities?" Her heart constricted, but fortitude surged through her. Integrating family-focused practices actually lightens the emotional and cognitive burden we carry. The fewer families feel isolated in their care, the more informed and engaged they become. It's a shift that requires initial effort but leads to sustainable change. The room fell silent, the weight of her words settling among them. Emma recognized the hesitant belief slowly emerging from her peers. She had drawn them into a conversation where they could engage with the fundamental issue, something that resonated on personal levels. As discussions swayed through concerns and support, she noticed that one voice propelled her initiatives further than she had anticipated. Laura, a respected senior nurse known for her discerning views, spoke up. "If we stand behind Emma, we have a chance to change the conversation around how we care for our patients and families. I believe a pilot program may show its positive impact, especially if we source feedback from nurses who are willing to try this." The atmosphere shifted again, this time towards possibility. With each supportive comment, Emma found her confidence blossoming. The winds of doubt began to sway in her favor, and the momentum pushed against the barriers formed by fear and caution. "Let's draft a proposal together," suggested Linda, a fellow nurse who had once voiced her skepticism, but now observed the potential within Emma's vision. "If we collaborate, we can pave the way for long-term change that benefits us all." Before the meeting concluded, Emma and her colleagues brainstormed solutions to implement the pilot program effectively. Tasks were assigned, and excitement brewed in pockets of the room. She felt exhilarated. Her fears had dissolved into a shared commitment, and the light of possibility flickered brightly ahead. As the gathering disbanded and co-workers filtered out, Emma lingered, savoring the exhilaration that enveloped her. Everything she had hoped for, support, recognition, partnership, had begun to materialize, paving the way for a future rich with potential. Alone for a moment, Emma allowed herself to reflect on the transformative journey she had traversed. In the earlier nights of uncertainty and doubt, she was trapped in the cycle of fear. Today, she stood armed with purpose and resilience. Her dreams of motherhood and career were no longer conflicting entities. They blossomed in tandem, each aspiration feeding off the other, building a potential legacy of care and empathy. In that moment of silence, the prospect of becoming a mother burned brighter. There was a shared dream, a narrative woven not just by her ambitions, but intertwined with Jake's support, tender yet resilient. She envisioned a life where she could mother with intention and professional purpose, cultivating a nurturing space that honored both caregiving roles. Later that night, as she texted Jake to share the news, excitement coursed through her. Not only had she taken a courageous leap, she had paved a path not only for herself, but for the community around her. Together, they would embrace both their dreams and what they could create alongside each other. With the warmth of perseverance and ambition, Emma had successfully navigated skepticism, transformed doubt into empowerment, and led her colleagues into a new understanding of care. Her journey toward motherhood intertwined seamlessly with her aspirations as a pioneering nurse, reaping the unique rewards of both worlds. Emma surrendered to this radiant vision of her future, her heart swelling with the thrill of possibilities ahead. This was just the beginning, and at long last she felt she was finally ready to embrace every facet of her evolving identity. Now, dear viewers, if you resonated with this incredible story of transformation and aspiration, you need to subscribe now. The journey doesn't end here. Leave a like to help spread the message of empowerment, and comment below with your thoughts and reactions. Don't wait even one more second. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness the strength of personal growth. Your support is vital to continue inspiring these emotional stories.